It's Tuesday. Hey, everybody. It's Steve.
Hey, everybody.
Do a little BS.
What's shaking?
Hey, Steve, tonight we got a very special new segment called Why We Like. Aha!
Oh, yeah.
So I figured we would start with one of our all-time favorites, which is
most favorited
Galactic Heroes, which is our second book that we came out with after we did the Kickstarter for Reloaded, which Reloaded was the very first Fistful of Lead game we ever did. It was about 10 years old when I did the Kickstarter for it. So that hadn't been out long. We started taking Fistful of Lead Reloaded and making all kinds of new, taking it into new places, new genres. So we decided that we do a Kickstarter for Galactic Heroes. And since then, we have been using it for everything. And why do we use it for everything? Well, because it's so versatile. It's not tied to any miniature manufacturing. It's miniature agnostic. You can use it for whatever you want.
And it rocks.
Yep. Yeah. Not Jay even says it's my most favorite. It is. Hello, Mini Warmut. Mini Warmut says hello, Jay and Steve.
Hey, kids.
Yep. So what we did when we went from Reloaded was we added a couple of new things, like the 7 card and the 2 card do something different, specials. We added a buttload of new traits. We added some crew traits. We added psionics, so our version of the Force, if you will, but you could also use it for space wizards, things like that. And alien monsters. But what makes it great is, we've talked about it before. When you're putting traits on a, Steve, show them your new shirt. There it is. When you're given traits, we've talked about this. Not Jay has talked about this on his channel. Having the Deadeye trait could mean all kinds of different things. I mean, your guy is like really good at shooting. It could mean you've got some sort of alien built-in telescopic vision. It could mean that you've got special equipment. It could mean whatever you want it to mean. But the end result is still the same. So we have used it for Star Wars. So we've let's get some. So we've used it for these fellows you might recognize. Steve painted up from one of our mini games.
You may remember these fellows from that one game.
The guy with the shirt. The sorry old toilet bowl heads who get wiped out to a man almost every time. But, the nice thing is because you can trade up however you want, there's quite a few miniatures out there for Star Wars that are put out by other companies, especially if you've got a printer. And
yes,
you can stat up things like the Ugnaught. What's it called? The Juggernaut? No, Uggernaut.
It's the Uggernaut.
It's the Uggernaut.
Yeah.
And you can stat up some of the other creatures that maybe some other games haven't actually come out with. So these are some of the cards that Steve has done. And for instance, here, these are the scum that Boba likes to roll with.
And that's a crew. So that whole sheet there is an entire crew.
So we've got Bosk and IG-88 and Dengar, Steve's personal favorite, Zuckus and Forlom. Why do you like Dengar so much?
I don't know. He's like my favorite of the bounty hunters. Now, I don't know how small this is on people's computers, but
it's huge.
Yeah. McMurray did wreck the house with the yes. This I put the team trait in the red box, or the crew trait, which is tactical, which gives you 2 specialists.
Mm-hmm. So specialist gives you more traits. So those not familiar, your leader gets 3 on top of his leader trait. Specialists get 2, and your regulars only get 1. So that's why Dengar and IG-88, which are the specialists, each have 2 traits, and then their weapons, and then of course their team trait being tactical. So that's why Steve has it included on there. So
yeah. Now, don't hold it against me if there's an error or a misspelling on here. I'm literally making like hundreds and hundreds of cards.
Yeah, we've got like 200 figures we're doing. So this is the glory of the rule set is, you can decide what Zuckus has based on your readings or understanding of Star Wars. Here's another crew of misbegotten types, and again, I don't know if any of these exist in Legion. I think maybe
none of them do.
Oh, okay. So these are ones we've purloined from other sources that Steve has painted up. And
the one of the three of the miniatures are metal, and they're from I can't remember what game they're from. The Ganacht figure is a Wizards of the Coast figure, and the Mursk figure is from Imperial Assault.
Gotcha. That's right. Yeah, and so their team trait is that they're fearless. So they ignore anybody's got a fearsome presence like Darth Vader or some sort of monster, and then they also, no matter how many shock they have, when they try to recover, they don't have any penalties.
Well, they'll have one
or multiple. They'll still have one, but they won't have.
Yeah, they'll still have one
other one. So, So not Jay says his Zuckus might be different than your Zuckus.
And thank God for that. That's what she said.
Yeah, that's just the way God made us. We're all just a little bit.
His Zuckus is just his Zuckus is just a little bit different. It leans to the left.
Yeah. So we've done kind of our own thing, which is great because you can set up Chris, aka Not Jay, over at Not Jay's Wargaming channel. He did a whole show about how he stats up his guys, and they did a whole show on statting up their guys for Fistful of Lead, and that's the glory of it. It can be your game. It can be what you think it should be. There was a huge fight. I remember over how Captain Winters from Band of Brothers should be statted. So, but here in the Codex Galactica, we've got some already pre-statted up troops for you. We've got we've got my favorite to start with. I started, of course, with the retro sci-fi like Dash Dixon and the Rocket Rangers, which of course has all of your Flash Gordon-esque troops already statted up. We've got Faraway Galaxy, aka Star Wars. Federated Space for those of you who like the other star-related franchise. And interdimensional time-traveling scientist, some sort of doctor. I don't know who. And including all his villains he's fought against. And, of course, the grim, dark future. Plenty of stuff in there. Again, if you don't like what I came up with, you're, of course, allowed to change it. We've also got Ancient Mars, aka the John Carter version of Mars, as well as the Colonial Mars or the Space 1889 version of it. So that brings us back to the fact that you can use this kind of for, well, not just kind of, you can use it for whatever sort of background you got. So here's Boba and his crew.
Yeah.
So
now and how I everybody does, of course, their stuff different. How I end up trading and building my teams. So like offhand painted, I have probably 12, and what the pages that you're seeing right now are mercenary teams. I have probably 12 mercenary teams. More,
yeah, we did an
or
entire
more.
show that was the Bounty Hunter Bonanza, which was
So how I do it is I work in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and I'll have all of the cards all on the screen at once, and I have them separated into their individual teams. How I like to stat it up is, one, I make sure that the stats fit the character. So like Boba Fett has Beskar armor. He's a flyer. Of course, he's got to be a veteran. So that fills up his slot. Fennec Shand, of course, she's a sniper. So ranged fighter and sniper. What I like to do, though, is I don't want to keep giving, like, if I know I'm going to be playing with 8 to 10 guys at Jay's house, I don't want everybody to have very similar cards. So I want to make sure I'll go through the traits, and I'll make sure that there's a gadgeteer added somewhere, there's a medic added somewhere. I want to use every trait in there if it makes sense for that character in my head. But I like to make it to where we're trying every trait, we're doing everything that's in the book, and it's all on these characters. There is some overlap there, but I try not to have a ton of it. So I just kind of spread the wealth, and I do everything at once.
Yeah, and if you think about it, we've talked about it before. You could put 5 traits on each guy, but crappy rolls, and that guy that you've traded up like crazy goes down in a first shot of the game. So
yeah,
and for new players, it's a lot to keep track of. So that's kind of why we have the whole system of a sort of hero sidekick and some leftovers for the most part. So
and I would recommend too, is if you're new to playing it, try a game with no traits.
Yeah, or
Straight
very
up.
little, like the leader has his and everyone else is just scrub.
Right. Or then if you start to introduce traits, only play with the crew trait. So everybody's got the same trait across the table, and then get used to it, because I mean, we still even run into it this day, and we've been playing with guys that we've been playing for a very long time, years, that will go, oh shit, I forgot that I had this, and I forgot that I had that. And that's just the nature of the beast.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, it sucks to be you.
Yeah,
but
and on this one, you've got some Gamorreans too, so that's a whole grunt group. That's three miniatures to that.
So the Gamorreans, if you have a grunt group, they're D8s. Okay, so the trait I gave them was brute, which gave them no shoot, but then moved their close combat up 1 die. So that moves that from an 8 to a 10. They're only allowed 1 trait. But I gave them a negative trait, which was slow, because they are slow as molasses, which gave me another trait to use, which I added Thundering Charge. So that, for me, that made sense.
So they're going to be nasty in close combat unless you cut them down before they get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you creep with them, you're moving about 1 inch.
Yeah. Yeah. And they are kind of cowardly, so that works out well. Weird World War II had asked if it would work for Space Above and Beyond, and I was like, "Yep, man, you're digging out the old stuff. I haven't seen that forever."
And it's not, it works. It works with anything, and it doesn't have to be. The thing is like, Jay and I were talking before we went live. Is I use Galactic Heroes for everything. Now, Jay's made some changes in rules over the period of time that in other books they get altered, but I use the core rules. But I default, just because it's my favorite, I default to Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, and the best part is you can just use this for. I'll show you some pictures later of just generic sci-fi of what you have. I've heard of this game that called Stargrave that has all these miniatures that come with it. So between that and just the proliferation of sci-fi miniatures, you can use whatever you want. Uh, that's out there to form your crew. And better yet, since I like being a world maker, make up your own background for everything too. So we've played many times in the 40K universe. We've done some Necromunda. We've done some other things. So we've we've done orcs and Eldar and everything. With like the Space Marines, we've used some of the crew traits to make them fewer models but tougher, and sort of throwing them in here. So like, here's one of our orc crews, and of course my personal favorite, the retro sci-fi with Dash 6. And this out, I usually do cards. I just put them on a sheet for the most part, and I'll. This is how I would do it for a convention, where I would have the characters there with the objective already on there, so the players have got what the objective is on top of a lot. I usually like to have a sort of main objective and then a secondary. So in this case, on this one, they had to capture the planetary governor and light the first sparks of rebellion on this world, but your ship has been damaged, so you need a quantum converter part, and believe that the Jump King has one. But beware, an old enemy, Captain Zoltor, is in town. He could throw a wrench in your plan. So they get 10 points for grabbing the quantum converter. 2, if possible, is better. And but he hates Captain Zoltar, so he gets 1 renown for each rank. So he doesn't get any points for killing anybody else that's playing in this 6-player game. Nothing's stopping him from doing it, but he doesn't get any points for it. And players have to decide then, am I going to waste my time getting in a fight with somebody else? Now, what they didn't know was that, for instance, Captain Zoltar really didn't. He had anything to his objectives had nothing to do with Dash Dixon. So all of a sudden he's getting shot at, and he's like, "Why are you shooting at me?" So he had his own thing.
And what I really like about that kind of stuff that you've introduced is, if you're playing a kind of pseudo campaign, or you've got characters that you've painted, let's say you only have 10 painted figures to your name, that's all you got. These little side objectives and things that you've made help build a story to where it ends up building up over time, that you've created just from people playing, and these objectives you created like arch enemies and bitter rivals, and it adds a really, really nice element of storytelling to it.
And there's a campaign system in it. We try to make it more narrative. So, there's a simple campaign system for it. Somebody might get hurt. You have to hire some scumballs to fill in the spot while somebody's having to sit it out. Yeah, you could lose your whole crew, but there's a good chance most of them will make it back. You always get at least one guy you get to save no matter what. So we'll be playing Thursday, the conclusion, or not conclusion, but part 2 to our Wasteland Warriors campaign game that we did last time. So we'll see how it goes with some of the players that got knocked out last time. Now Jay said he got his miniatures for Firefly. Yep, there's another universe that you could definitely do. Give the Ravagers. Is that what they are? The insane pirate dudes. Give them the bloodthirsty trade, of course, so they have to charge.
I just saw today some more figures, some more STL figures released for
Reavers. There we go. Thank you, Jay. I knew
the movie that is in the desert with the spice.
Yes.
And they look great. I don't know if I would end up getting them. I feel like I would be it'd be a weird lady on the side to my Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they might get jealous. So
And the thing is like, what's great about if you use generic sci-fi stuff, and there's a ton out there. I know there's people that's like, I can't find anything. Man, I go on
you
Etsy
ain't looking.
and you ain't looking. I found generic sci-fi figures, really fun stuff. It kind of reminded me of heavy metal a little bit, but
Yeah.
I found stuff on Etsy for like $5 a figure. And, I don't know how cash strapped people are, but again, this is a hobby that
Well, there's also, there's people
spend
who
money.
there's a lot of people besides eBay and stuff, your local friendly hobby shop. There's people that are always wanting to get rid of armies and stuff and might sell you on the cheap.
Yep.
And, nice things you mentioned, Matt. Some of them will sell like single sprues of stuff. So, you get a single sprue of some Imperial Guard and a sprue of Necromunda dudes and maybe a sprue from Stargrave or something. And you can mix and match and make some cool, just weird, fun stuff, and then also just how you paint it, this we talked about with Wasteland Warriors. Someone was asking about, where to find mutants and stuff. And I'm like, get some plastic orcs. As soon as you don't paint them green, all of a sudden they're mutants,
Yeah.
glue an extra arm on, use a little bit of green stuff, give them a third eye, glue an extra head on. It doesn't take a whole lot of skill, especially with plastics, to modify stuff.
And I know, for not to jump to Wasteland Warriors, but I mean, you can use your generic sci-fi figures for Wasteland Warriors. It's a very thin line of miniatures, or the difference in miniatures for that. And even whether it's Wasteland Warriors or whether it's Galactic Heroes, a great show to get inspiration from, and I know Jay has gotten it for Wasteland Warriors, is Thundar the Barbarian. All hail Jack Kirby. But it's sometimes a little hard to sit through. I have it all on DVD.
Yeah.
But there's some great ideas.
Yeah, Nache said the movie Wizards would be cool too. Yes, that is a slight dream of mine to do that.
God, I haven't seen that in 100 years.
Oh, so much of it's just garbage because he just took like old World War II footage. So these are like some of my just generic dudes. These are all like pig iron guys, and I'm in a walker I brought in from the old AT-43 plastics, which everyone seems to have at conventions, which we'll talk about in a minute. So again, I just use what I got, statted them up. This is sort of I've got a generic background that I have that has the Alliance of what do I call it? Yeah, the United Systems Alliance, and then I've got my Confederated Free Worlds against them. So Union and Confederacy, sort of a little bit of a Civil War kind of thing. Also kind of like Firefly.
Are there STLs of Firefly? I haven't seen.
No, the new game came out, a new board game, and the figures are the right size. They're a little bit tall. Yeah, World War II posted that Peace from Wizards is out there, but he's pretty big, and it's just him. They don't have any of the other kind of troops with him. You killed Fritz! Then, of course, we've played many games with a certain Doctor, which really opens up. I am not a Doctor Who fan. Steve is, but playing with the Doctor Who has really opened up us to be able to play with everything we got. So our last game, the Good Doctor, was in mid 17th century England in the middle of their Civil War when the Silver Knights appeared and started messing with the locals, trying to convert them over. We've done the Daleks, trying to build a secret weapon in the post-apocalyptic Earth. So being able to do that has been great because you just, literally any miniatures. And because the rules work so well together with all the different books, you can, of course, just play with, horse and musket versus sci-fi.
Yeah, and on the Doctor Who thing, here's the thing too that we did, and it has nothing to do again with the horrible word points, is that you had all these villagers who didn't, for the most part, didn't have any kind of shooty weaponry really.
Well, we
versus
had that was about
Cybermen.
half and half, and then they had to reload after it was shot because it was black.
Right.
powder.
So the way we evened it out, instead of doing points, that dreaded points word, is that you just didn't have that many Cybermen there. There were like maybe 6.
Yeah, it was basically 2 players against 4 players. So that's how we did it. And because the Cybermen all had ranged weapons, and they had the ability
they
to
could regenerate
and bring the dead out of action royalists and make them into Cybermen. So that's how we did it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yep. And so then, of course, brings us to the beginning of our Saturday morning. So we've done several games now with Galactic Heroes doing Masters in the Universe. Now, we dipped a little bit into Wasteland Warriors to give them some of their specific traits. But again, that's the beauty of the system, is you can pick
and fantasy
there. And so the Sorceress and Evil Lyn, and Skeletor, of course, and Orko pull some spells in from the fantasy, but you could just as easily have done it with using the psionics from Galactic Heroes, which it's just the level that you want to bring stuff in.
Here's I've just started painting, primering him. This is Too Bad for Masters of the Universe.
Hold on.
When I make him, where am I?
Hold on, I'm trying to get him. There he is. Put your hand behind him.
Let's see if that'll work. When I paint him, I will be using Wasteland Warriors traits because he's got 2 heads.
Yeah.
So I'm already jumping into it.
Rule that everyone that fights against him hates. So with 2 heads, it's almost like the Galactic Hero or Villain trait, where if you activate on a red card, he gets 3 actions instead of 2.
Yeah. So like with Masters of the Universe, though, I would say, and that's my opinion, I think it's the closest to superhero rules that we've played.
What you're coming. Yeah, I got a very nice email from a gentleman who was very excited about doing interwar period, the period between World War I and World War II, which is also one of my favorites. And he was excited that we should do that. And I was like, I'd love to do it, but I've got so much else in front of it. But we're definitely, it's one of the things I want to do, especially if you throw in bigger battles to it. So then, of course, Chris, not Jay, says Stargate SG-1, same way. One can be Vikings fighting the Jaffa of Apophis, and the next game could be Egyptians fighting Chinese warriors. Yes, that's what I love.
Don't hold it against me. I've never seen an episode of that show.
I watched a little bit of it.
Never seen it.
So, it's you like what you like. Then, of course, on the Saturday mornings, look who we got here. Cobra! So again,
so good.
Just here's your average soldier. Gave him killer, and then all the Cobra soldiers are steady because they're terrified of running of their leaders than they are from the actual troops they're fighting, and of course Snake Eyes. So in this case, because these guys are all heroes, a lot of all the nobodies got 1 or 2 traits. Meanwhile, all these guys are running off with wearing leader stuff. They're all running around with 3. We played this game. We played this game, and I think it was Freedom, the eagle that belongs to what's this? Spirit. Yeah, tore up like 3 or 4 guys. It was great.
Weird World War II says there's a lot said 28 millimeter GI Joes out there.
There
On the
is,
download.
and there's tons of vehicles. So once I get them all painted up, we'll be doing a bigger battles like true Saturday morning, blue and red lasers everywhere.
Fantastic.
Yes, that was the point.
Yes, Warma.
Like
there is Zartan.
Yes, there is Zartan, and the way we do Zartan is one of the miniatures on the other side is actually Zartan, and the player who's controlling it doesn't know until Zartan reveals himself. Until it's too late. Until you get shot in the back.
Serpentor.
Never been a Serpentor. I'm old school.
Yeah, me.
They jumped the shark when they went to, what was it, Cobra Law?
Yeah. Yes, Warmutt. Jay has them all. Flint, Destro, Major Blood. They're all, the gang's all there.
Yep.
I don't know if you've filmed one of the G.I. Joe games.
No, I don't know if I have. We've played it. I post about it on the blog. And that would Mini Warback, that would be Tomax and Zaymot. So of course they have exactly the same traits.
Except one has a scar on his face.
Yep, give the scar trait. Fearsome presence. Yeah. And so basically, I think we've covered that one of the reasons why we like it is because it is so versatile. And we've played just so many games with it. And it's really, I think some people have a hard time wrapping their head around that they can do with what they want. And then also just the scenarios can easily be adapted just because one of them is, you're not the bot you're looking for, which is basically an escort mission across a crowded spaceport. There's no reason to say you can't change the robots into something else. They could easily be an alien or an ambassador or something like that, or change the venue of the whole thing. Definitely.
It's your game.
So I have been working on scenarios with Thomas Foss on his new Kickstarter his successful Kickstarter that he just did, which is loosely based. It's old school Rogue Trader 40K with the basically Thorne and company from The Hobbit. So he's taken the dwarves from The Hobbit and of course Bilbo, except he's called Biljo, and is put them into space, and they go through all the different adventures. So instead of fighting trolls, they're fighting the troll bots, and
they're great.
Warmutt, why did you throw them all away, Mama? Why? So, the other thing that jumped the shark on with G.I. Joe's when they added like Rocky Balboa and the refrigerator.
That was the toys, though. They weren't.
No, they had him in the comic, and they had him in the.
Were they in the comic?
Yep. Before the comic, then the comics became like serious, and they made them like, all hardcore, and
People may differ from me, but I think the one that was a successful addition to G.I. Joe that was real was Sergeant Slaughter.
Yep. Yeah, and so and again, you could do whatever you want. You want to make it more comic-like, and you want to make it more almost a serious war comic that they have some like kind of sci-fi elements to, or I'm more of the old cartoon version where it's just dopey and crazy. So, but that's how I am with them. But it's the same way with Wasteland Warriors. My Wasteland Warriors is based off a Gamma world with all the Kirby elements like Thundar and Commodity Lash Boy on Earth and talking plants and robots and stuff. But that doesn't mean you can't use the rules, strip all that out, and just play a straight up post-apocalyptic Zona Alpha, the road friggin' Book of Eli, stuff like that. So
Really
the hard part with making a rule with making a miniatures agnostic rule set is the fact that some people don't want that. Some people want to be told exactly this is how to paint stuff and this is how your forces should be. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just there's plenty of places where they can go and play. That's not what I want. What I want is people to be able to use what they got sitting in their lead pile.
Not Jay says Mad Max.
Yep, you could do that definitely.
I think Crooked Dice sells Mad Max stuff.
Yeah,
getting a little bit of feedback. I'm getting a little bit of feedback
out there. Guy who's called oh my God, now I'm going blank. Art of Mike. He does a bunch of great post-apocalyptic stuff, and he's just got like leathery dudes with guns. He's got like cyborg cowboys. He's got robots, and then he's got some more realistic looking stuff. So whatever you want to do.
The one thing I want miniatures of, and I have not seen them. If anybody knows where they're at or has seen them, lead me to them. Is I want the miniatures from the American Legion, Alien Legion comic book.
Yep,
the old Alien Legion.
Marathon has some, but in 15 millimeter. Charles pointed out Predator, and yes, of course, Alien. So we've even got a bug hunting scenario in there. So, and God, everybody's making Predator and Alien miniatures now. They're
all over Etsy.
It was like a Predator chick, and she had this like these big boobs, and I started thinking, I was like, do you think they're mammalian? Because I don't think they are. And then two, think about what those teeth would do. So,
yeah, they're all over Etsy.
Yeah, and then let us not forget the vehicle manual that goes with Galactic Heroes, because then you can introduce vehicles to your rules. I am, for this level of skirmish, I am not a big fan of having a lot of vehicles out there, because then it just becomes more about that. But it's okay to have, I think it's okay to have one or two out there, or especially if it's like part of the mission, like, your tank hunters are supposed to be taking out this one tank that's been, nailing people left and right. If you want to do lots of vehicles, then I say you switch up to bigger battles, which we've proven you can have a ton of vehicles out there.
Yep.
Or one that I didn't mention is you could take like the dust figures and use those if you want to do World War II and stuff. It's perfect for it. Warmet says you have to have the I don't have time to bleed trait. That would be
you get a wound, but it doesn't go onto your figure to the next turn.
Determine what you ignore shock and wounds and penalties and close combat, or if you wanted it to be shooting, that of course would be steady. So steady would be the I don't have time to bleed trait. So we've got so throw in the vehicles. Then of course, if you want to take it to outer space, we've got starfighters, which is exactly it's seamless between this and then take it. We've done several battles where we've had a starfighter battle out in space, and that leads directly to bonuses or not bonuses, detriments to the ground combat that's going on. I still personally want to do a big 3 games going on at once, and then each of them actually has an effect on the other game. So you're basically working on different little fronts where you're fighting. I think that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us to if you hadn't seen any of our social media posts, so next year we will be coming out with the 2nd edition of Galactic Heroes. So what's different about the 2nd edition? Well, we fixed a lot of stuff. Actually got an editor. We've made it more in line with our current rule system. So it's going to be a lot closer to the current second edition of Horse and Musket and the fantasy rules. Lots more traits. This actually has the vehicle manual and the Codex Galactica, both of which are each a $10 value, already in the rules. So this is a 92-page softback. It'll be full color. It'll have all those things in it. That's all those in there. Then if you want to go full, I want it all, baby. We've got the Galactic Heroes hardback, which we are calling the Savior of the Universe collected edition. This will have everything I just mentioned, which is the second edition of Galactic Heroes. It's going to have the vehicle manual, the codex in it. Starfighters is in this too. That's why it says at the bottom here, a quick and easy set of wargaming rules for land and space battles in the future. It'll also have 6 free scenarios that we had in the original Kickstarter in it too. Right now, we've got a bundle that includes the hardback, and you get a PDF copy of the rules. And of course, they'll autograph it for you. And both sets of cards. That is the Galactic Heroes cards and the Starfighter cards. Or you could do just buy the hardback because coming out here, I think we just started it yesterday and it goes all the way to the 12th. We're doing a buy one, get one half price on all of our cards. So if you've been putting off
on the fence.
Yeah, if you've been putting off getting the cards, now's your chance. And then Warmut had mentioned like the Moonraker playing in 0G. There is a scenario in there that already talks about how to use 0G stuff. So, and then
McMurray asked if the PDF's free. All you manufacturers do that now.
Do they? I hadn't heard that. They don't, by the way. And then we've all, with the book purchase, we've got, and then next week, the 13th through the 20th, we've got a 10% off all of our downloads. No promo code needed. But if we're going to talk promo codes, if you go to wileygames.com and put in the promo code BSing, BSING, all in capitals, you'll get 10% off of your next purchase. So you combine that with the Not J bonus promo code over at his website. Well, then all of a sudden you've got 2 different things. You get 10% off your purchase too. So there's our commercial for that. Steve, did we have anything in the mailbag this week?
Let me see here.
What's in the mailbag?
We do, and this one, I believe this is hot off the press here. The mailbag was empty, but for some reason, towards the end of the day today, something just came through the boom tube here.
Came through the boom tube.
All right, are you ready?
I am ready.
Dear author, I'm going to ask you a very detailed question. You will politely give me a very detailed answer. I'll ask it again, but this time a little more patronizing. You'll answer, and then I'll just tell you I'm going to do what I want. Yours truly, wasting your time in Wabash.
I mean, I don't know how to answer that one. You're going to do what you're going to do, you know.
I think McMurray could answer that.
I think he could too.
One image.
Yeah, I think he could too. Yeah, I mean, we are always there on the website to answer your questions about rules, but sometimes some men just can't be reached. So you get what you had here today. So once we get
Oh,
once we
God.
get once we get the Galactic Heroes out the door, we've definitely got. I don't have the meme to post, McMurray. I would. Once we've got Galactic Heroes out, we'll be doing next year's roundup, and next year's roundup, we'll be doing. One of the reasons that I wanted to do the second edition of Galactic Heroes is because I'm doing one of my other favorite things, which is Victorian sci-fi. So if you've been to any of other stuff, so we'll be doing Glorious Adventures and the Age of Steam, which is basically going to be a supplement to the all the Galactic Heroes stuff. So we'll have choose your location for that. So Mars, England, post-apocalyptic England, fighting War of the Worlds kind of stuff. We'll have airship battles, you name it. So we'll be keeping our fingers crossed. We'll be at Salute in April, and James from Oshiro Model Terrain and some of my other buddies there will be running a game at Salute. We're going to have 2 tables. We're actually going to have the fantasy game going on, and we'll have a Star Wars game going on, all with the wonderful terrain that James is putting there. And so we'll be selling the rules there, and then once people pick that up, then of course we'll supplement for that'll set everybody up so everyone else we'll be able to put out our Glorious Adventures in the Age of Steam. And of course, right on the heels of the hat, we'll have Battlesuit Alpha, so we can have our mech battles.
So
but I will point out that right now you can play, the Battlesuit Alpha is basically just Galactic Heroes with the build system from Starfighters. I mean, there's no difference in putting a mech out than putting out a single fig from your crew. So you're statting them up just like you would a normal character. So it's just really
don't tell them that.
Oh, then they won't want to buy Battlesuit Alpha.
That's right.
And then long term, we've got me and Steve's Pulp Odyssey Terror Island, because we just love doing the wacky stuff. So Terror Island will be a whole campaign book with a campaign map and all these just bizarre, crazy locations. So we'll have, undead conquistadors and mad experiments, Dr. Moreau style stuff, Aztecs,
Skull Island type stuff.
Skull Island, giant monsters, dinosaur hunts, all that kind of stuff will be in Terror Island. Of course, there's our
Turu.
So we'll have all that kind of stuff. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's basically Terror Island has got everything in it that when you're like, oh, wouldn't this be a cool idea? Where in the hell would you set it at? Oh, wouldn't this be a great idea? Where in the hell would we set it at? Well, you just build the place that we set it at. Yeah, there it is.
Yep. So,
special guest Drake on the show tonight.
Yes. Yep. Definitely be able to do Spacey 1089. Definitely be able to do Jack the Ripper's really a cyborg. Yes, he was. The Phantom. Well, I'm doing a whole just Pulp Arrow Supers. It's not Danger Island. It's Terror Island. It's way higher than that.
Yeah, it's terror.
Hey guys, here's how to play my game without buying the book. Worst capitalist ever. Okay. Yep, that's me. Yep. Well, I've always told people that. Literally, me and Steve have said this how many times? You can take the core book and play whatever you want. And then not Jay asked when I'm going to do Battleship Combat when Hell freezes over. So
And I'll say this, if you're on the Facebook page, where just hilarity ensues most days of frustrations. But I mean, if you like Jay said, we've said that you can cross the streams and mesh the books together. And if you're working on something and you're not sure if it sounds good or if you can mix these traits with that traits, man, put it on Facebook. Jay responds, you know,
Yep.
very quick. And
Strike you down.
yeah, you might get McMurray or somebody that might throw up a Drake post or something on there, but Jay,
So-
I would say I will say that Jay's pretty fast to respond to stuff.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah. The hammer strikes quickly.
And
So
often.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing really that would keep you from just doing. If you wanted to do Victorian sci-fi right now, you could do it. I mean, especially if
It won't be as cool as your book.
especially if Galactic Heroes, because we've got gear in there, jetpacks and stuff like that. They just become, steam packs. We've got rules for aliens in there. We've got all kinds of stuff. So the guys in England, they've been doing a whole big long Mars campaign for years now, just using the Galactic Heroes rules. So there's nothing keeping you from doing it. I will gladly keep putting books out. So that, because McMurray's convinced that we don't have enough product on there. So we've got to keep him. We've got to keep him going. I know you're just giving me crap.
Well, and the product you have on there is just so goddamn confusing.
It
I
is.
can't ever figure out combat.
So speaking of capitalism, so my lovely wife, the Baroness, as if you watched Not Jay's broadcast last week, he talked about our customer appreciation. So this year we wanted to start rewarding our best fans, our supporters, our disciples, our champions, the gamers who love the fistful-led system, buy the various genres, invest in the cards, host the games, GM the convention events, talk about it online, subscribe to our social media, like our content. You're the ones that are putting us on the map so we can make more money, so that we can keep doing this. As a reward, return the love, we gift you thoughtful items to jazz up your workshop or gaming space. So as you buy things, and this is cumulative, so you can just keep going. It's not a single purchase. We have gifts that we give you along the way. So if you spend $200 with us, you'll get these lovely, nice printed coasters to put your painting stuff on, your morning coffee, whatever, which you can buy coffee cups at our spot at our website. At $400, you can see these lovely tape measures. They're very nice. We use them in all our stuff. At $600, you get a whole stack of coasters. Again, this is cumulative, so we're keeping a running total. There's no end to this. At $800, you get one of these great dice.
It's very nice.
Snap together. A cool grand. We'll gift you with a lovely embroidered hat, like I usually wear most of the time.
But not pre-worn.
Yeah, not pre-worn. And then we got a T-shirt like Steve's wearing at $1,200, and we're going to keep going with these too. So these are just our little thanks to you for buying stuff, and we like to, And also, if you're running a convention game, let us know. We send out free swag all the time. So yes, you may not like responses. So. And Where are we?
Oh, how about wall posters? Someone asked.
Oh yes, we
okay.
have. If you like the covers for Steve's fantasy books that he did, we sell those on the site. On the site right now, Warmut. Warmut's bought a couple of our T-shirts too. So and we don't make anything off of those. Those are just through through another company, basically, that so that you can have them. We just wanted people to have swag because it's it's advertising for all of us. So we've got all that stuff, customer rewards, that kind of thing. They have. And then, we listen to people. We try to put out what games that people are excited about. So we've got so much content coming, and we're at a tipping point. I've talked to Steve about this to where I should really be doing this full time, but I'm not. I got a full-time job, and I do this on nights and weekends, and and that's when we're not going to conventions or doing other stuff. So, but we're just not quite there yet. There's this thing called insurance.
But I mean,
here in the United States, we have to pay for.
You're kicking some serious ass though by, you're working full time. You're putting the titles you're coming up with new titles. It's like Jay got done with Fantasy and he's like, yeah, Robin told me I had to take a break. The Baroness told me I had to take a break and I couldn't do anything. And then he's like, but don't tell her I've already got an idea for such and such. Yeah, like, oh man, that's a great idea.
So we've been playtesting a Gladiator game, and so far it's been really fun. We just it's short enough that we could play it after our normal battles, and we just sort of been doing that. It's a slight departure from the normal rules. Still uses cards. Most of the cards still do what you want, but there's a little bit change in how it works. So you're getting a whole hand of cards again, like you normally do for a single Gladiator, but you're choosing one and putting it out there, kind of a thing. So you're not just stuck with here's my one action for the game. So there's a lot of nuances to it. There's actually a lot of strategy to it, but it's still a Gladiator fight, so it's still running around in a closed area, having close combat kind of things. But as we've been playtesting it, there's been a bunch of little things that have popped up that are fun. And just like anything else, there's nothing to say why this Gladiator game couldn't be a fantasy Gladiator game. It could be a post-apocalyptic, oh God, what's the name of that one? Blood of Heroes with Rutger Hauer,
Oh God.
playing jugging.
Or the arena scene from Escape from New York.
Yes, exactly. And I do love Gladiator games, Billy. In fact, that's how we started it. So, in fact, I've thrown out a few playtest versions that people haven't heard back. So, Thunderdome, of course, also is a possibility.
Of course.
So there's nothing. If you've got the figs and you want to put them in a pit, it's all basically the same thing. But this has a little bit more of a historical angle to it, where you actually do have gladiator types, and their traits and stuff are based on historical ways that they fought, how they were armed, all that kind of stuff. Versus just you're gonna get a champ. You're gonna get your own Lanista, and you're gonna get your own gladiator stable, and with that you'll have a leader, a specialist, and some regulars. In other words, you'll have a champion, a guy who's got some experience, and then some fresh meat to throw out there. And so I'm waiting for Santa Claus to bring me some of the more weirder type gladiators, like the mounted ones and the archers and the V-lights and the scissors and some of the other odd ones. So that'll be fun. So anyway, Steve, are we still going to try to do so this Thursday we're going to be having the Wasteland Warriors game, and then Are we going to try to put together some sort of very special Christmas episode? I know desperately you want to do a Star Wars Christmas special, but we don't have miniatures for Lumpy.
No, but before Christmas, I think we need to have a live streamed game of a Galactic Heroes holiday special.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to happen. We could have Santa Claus versus the Martians. We could do something like that. We could do something.
We'll have something.
We could do something on our Snow Brawl rule set, which is 99 cents. It's a lot of fun to play around the holidays. You can play with any figures you want. They're a lot of fun.
There'll be something. There will definitely be something.
Yeah. So we play every Thursday. We used to play every Thursday, but now we've got every Thursday is D&D night. So
D&D.
Can't give that up.
Can't stop, won't stop. But make sure you guys tune in this Thursday. Our friend Ken, it's all his terrain and miniatures for the Wasteland Warrior stuff. This will be part 2.
Yeah, if you caught the last one,
it looks great.
Looking terrain, it's great. It's all scratch built. I know I Mr. Print it and play it, but Ken worked on this really hard and put out some great looking terrain for it. So this one we're actually going to go from 4 players. It looks like we're having 6 this time. So there'll be plenty of mutants and robots and plants and crazy crap happening on, because I'm a big believer in the gonzo version of the post-apocalyptic. Why can't it be fun kind of a thing? So we've got that going on. What else? I kind of talked about future games. We'll be doing a Mech Warrior type game too. That's a different scale than Battlesuit Alpha. We talked about superheroes. We've talked about
pulp. We've talked about superheroes, Victorian sci-fi. Oy, oy, oy. I mean,
cyberpunk.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
You've got cyberpunk stuff. I have no cyberpunk stuff.
Yes, I've got plenty of it. I'm just working on the terrain. So, we might do a Saturday morning special, which will be she'll be similar to our Codex Galactica that we did, where we just statted up a bunch of pre-made characters. In which case, we'll do like all the Saturday morning cartoons. So we'll do our Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Silverhawks. I don't know if anybody.
Oh Lord, I forgot about Silver. Wasn't there a villain that played a guitar or something on there? Or one of the Silverhawks was a cowboy crooner or something.
Well, what was the cowboy cartoon? Marshall Bravestar.
Was it Black Star?
Well, there's Black Star, and then there's Marshall Bravestar.
Bravestar, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, boy. Yeah, because I'm almost to the point now where I'll have
Star Trek.
Will have enough.
Galactic Heroes.
I have enough for 8 players for Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, we talked about doing for our Christmas game. We talked about doing Silent Night, Deadly
Nightshade, which still could happen.
Great sci-fi thing. I don't know.
It could be a Wiley Games holiday special.
Oh, Eddie Warmont's got to leave. It's taco time
again.
So anyway, we're at our 8:00 thing. So if anybody's got any questions they want to put in for me and Steve in the chat that we can answer here the last bit of the show. So anything you got that you want to ask us? Steve, what are you painting on?
I am painting. All right, so these are what are they? They're assassin droids. Here, let me I just turned my camera off. I'll hold them up. They're assassin droids from the Mandalorian.
The Mando.
Yeah, the Mandalorian episode. And they're gray, white, and red. And I'm going to paint those. They're going to be for Galactic Heroes, they're going to be a grunt team. So I'm giving one of the leaders summon as a trait. So these will be the troops that he summons.
I get
See,
it.
he calls for a little bit of backup, and they can come in.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They can come in, I think, any time at like 6 inches away from what I remember.
Yep.
So
Or
they'll be
whatever
kind
you
of,
want to do, because ultimately you can do with it what you want with the rules. So
yeah. I'll just consider it like they it's like a drop. A droid drop.
Droid drop.
Like the Death Troopers, or not Death
Yeah.
Troopers, the Dark Troopers.
I am
They
currently
just get
painting up
dropped
a
in.
bunch of more retro sci-fi stuff. So I just painted a not Voltan and some of the Hawkmen, and so we'll be doing that or an Arborea game, because I've got some of the Rangers there for Prince Baron, and I've got those, and those match my other retro stuff. I did the Kickstarter for Crooked Dice for their Flash Gordon, but like you, I find their stuff is cool looking, but not easy to paint.
No,
Because
it's not. And what I say, it's not.
detail's not deep. In other words, it's not
deep enough.
I think you have to. It's hard to make up for some of the lack of depth in it. And I think it's because they sculpt digitally. Don't take into account that when you make it into lead, again, beautiful sculpts. I just think they're great. I think they'd be really hard for a beginner to paint. So,
well, yeah, it's weird. Like I
people
found
like
myself,
to use just washes and stuff.
yeah, and I don't paint washy. I don't do washes really, and nor do you. To our stuff looks,
but I do a lot of highlights and stuff. So,
but it doesn't. Like Jay Reese's stuff is real. He could do well with that stuff. They got really nice figures. It's just I feel like I'm painting on details versus painting the detail.
yeah,
If that makes sense. But
Yep.
they've got some cool stuff. That Mad Max stuff I'd love to get my hands on, and they've got some really cool stuff for Wasteland Warriors. But
Yep.
I did a Kickstarter, the last Kickstarter I did, and I was kind of, I don't know what the deal was that a lot of the figures were way different sizes from one another.
Yeah. They had different sculptors doing it, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, they were like a head taller than than others. And it's like, okay,
not everyone's the same size, Steve.
I know, but it's like it's off-putting for me. So
we talked about with the proliferation of STLs and everything. For instance, there's 3 different people putting out Dune figures now. So you can match whatever your taste is, and you go on some sites like My Mini Factory or one of the other ones, and you can get just about any not 40K figure, or just anything. It really has opened up, especially for fantasy. There's so much different fantasy stuff, which we'll do on another show. But that's why I like. Again, that's why I like Galactic Heroes, is because you're not tied to a miniature line. So you can pick whatever figures you want, and you can play with what you have. So anyway, all right. I don't see any of we haven't got any questions or anything. So I think me and Steve did a good job of selling why we like Galactic Heroes. We'll probably do some more of these to highlight some of the other titles, because I generally think people don't realize how much you can do with them, and how much, of course, you can pull parts and pieces from each one of them. And just because I got a retro looking dude on the cover doesn't mean that you can use it for whatever you want. I mean, I think most of the people are buying it are using it for Star Wars because they either got sick of Legion or they got sick of not having, stats for the figures they wanted to play with, or this didn't have a play style that they wanted to do. So,
or tired of competitive play.
yes. All right. Well,
all right,
everybody
kids.
enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. Please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe.
And tune in Thursday.
Yeah, tune in Thursday, definitely. We're almost at 300. Yeah, definitely tune in Thursday. You'll have a great walkthrough of how the game is played. You'll get a great look at Wasteland Warriors, my special child that I love. But
some great scratch built scenery.
Yep, great scratch built scenery. So we'll see you on another Tuesday.